What is up, everybody? Keith Mitchell here from the Outer Hay Productions, and during the PlayStation Showcase this year, PlayStation showed off a brand new handheld device, which is internally called Project Q. Now, I talked about this with my friends over the Outer Haven, and honestly, I don't really think the PlayStation needs this device, but I've got a whole thing written up here. So let me get through this, and then we can talk about why I'm not feeling it. So, Project Q, and I'm just going to call it Q from now on, is a handheld device that will play PlayStation 5 games remotely, with the exception of PSVR games for obvious reasons, because you would need the apparatus or the headset to actually play these type of games. All right. It looks like a DualSense controller was sliced in half and an 8-inch screen was pasted in the middle of it. It's not a very decent looking device, but thankfully PlayStation did leave a disclaimer at the bottom saying that the design could change, it's temporary, and I hope it really does. I really don't know why PlayStation really thinks that they need this kind of device. I mean, they had several chances to do handheld devices correctly, and they dropped the ball. The PSP was decent, and it was completely mishandled. The PlayStation Vita was amazing. It was one of my favorite handheld devices of all time. But PlayStation simply did not bring the games that it needed to the Vita, and it died a horrible death. But it's still a fan favorite. I still got mine upstairs in my bedroom. Love it to death. But the question begs to be asked, why does PlayStation feel they actually need this device? You can already use devices such as the Razer Kishi or the Backbone for your Android devices, for Apple iPhone devices, that basically turns those phones into a handheld PlayStation 5 controller, or remote play controller, I should say. You also have the PlayStation officially supported device that does it on Windows as well, or you also have several applications that do it better than what PlayStation gives you, and they're third-party applications, I should say. One of them that I actually use on my phone is really good. It's a paid one, but I really like it because it does things better than the PlayStation Remote app does. I also have one that I use for my Logitech G Cloud, which is something we're going to circle back on, which officially the PlayStation Remote app doesn't work on it properly, but the one that I purchased, for I think it's like $5 I paid for it, allows me to play my PlayStation 5 on the G Cloud with no issues. And I also can use that on, or I can also use another one on my Steam Deck. So I already have multiple ways to play my PlayStation 5 games remotely. My phone, my G Cloud, my Steam Deck. And it just begs to ask, like, why is PlayStation doing this? Other than the fact that they want something that they can say, hey, this is ours 100%. Because I don't know why they don't officially support the G Cloud. But then again, it's also a device that's been heavily marketed by Microsoft. But then again, maybe they don't want to say, hey, you can use a PlayStation app on the same thing you can on an Xbox cloud gaming app, but you also can do that on your PC. So I don't know why that is. Maybe I'm just tossing things out there, but regardless. That said, I do have a lot of concerns with this device, mainly because there's a lot of things I've seen with PlayStation devices, like the battery. Let's talk about the battery. The DualShock 4, the DualSense, the Dual Edge, they all have terrible battery life. And I really get concerned when they talk about a handheld device. Even the PlayStation Vita, it didn't have the best battery life, but it was great for what it did, right? And you got to just think about it. With all these devices or all these controllers having issues, you got to think that PlayStation has these massive warehouse full of batteries, and they just want to use it in something. So I'm going to call it right now and say, when this device comes out, the battery life is going to suck. And if I'm wrong, you can come back and tell me that I was wrong. But I'm saying it right now, the battery life is probably going to suck. Again, it's only a Wi-Fi only device. We already have the Logitech G Cloud. I already mentioned PlayStation doesn't want to associate itself with something else. They want to have their own official stamp that says this is a PlayStation official device. But then again, you go back, you got the Backbone, which has the Backbone, was it 1? And is a PlayStation supported device. So I don't know why they're doing this. We already have multiple PlayStation 5 remote apps that I've already talked about. So there's a question to ask PlayStation. If I had a chance to ask PlayStation, I would go, why are you doing this? What is the goal here? Are you trying to get back into the handheld market? Will this do other than play PlayStation 5 games down the road? Or is it just a PlayStation 5 controller? a remote controller and you're just trying to hype things up. I don't really know. At the same time, like, what is this going to use? Is it going to use a brand new SoC? And if so, that seems like that's going to ramp up the price of this thing. I mean, there are tons of devices out there using Android variants. I don't see a reason why you wouldn't do this. But if you do this, it just goes back and asks the question, why are you wasting your time trying to develop this when there's already devices out there that does what you're trying to do? Why are you trying to do this? It just doesn't make any sense. But my biggest concern is the controllers. The DualSense controllers, we all know, suffer from stick drift. When I got my PlayStation 5, I sent 2 of them back to PlayStation. The third one, I just tossed in the trash because I was like, you know what? They're not going to do it again. I really don't care. Obviously, if they were using the Hall effect sensor joysticks like the Dreamcast did, then things would be different. But I don't think they're going to do that because they also will probably raise the price of the system. At the same time, we already got the PlayStation DualSense Edge that allows us to swap out the sticks in case they become bad. We didn't see this on a design. Then again, that design was not 100%. It was probably a mock design. So maybe they will add this later on down the road. But if they don't, it's going to be a pain in the ass to send these back to PlayStation to get fixed, given that it's probably going to be quite expensive. And I'm calling this now. I don't see this thing coming out for less than $400. The G Cloud was at $400, and people looked at that and went, Logitech, what are you smoking? This is way too much. Why are you charging this much? But PlayStation has the balls, trust me, they do, to sell this for $400 and go, you know you want it, you're going to buy it. Unless you're like me, who already has something to play PlayStation 5 games remotely, I'm going to go, no, really, I don't need it, so thanks a lot, PlayStation. I just don't know why they're doing this. But obviously, we don't have all the information. Again, it's a mock-up device or a mock-up design, so it's probably not the official one. PlayStation hasn't really given us much of anything to go on, so I really want to know more about it. I want to know the specs. I want to know the speakers. I want to know if this supports Bluetooth. Can we use external controllers with it? Because you see what I'm going here, right? It's like I'm trying to eliminate the actual need to have this and trying to get the PlayStation to see, hey, maybe you don't need to be doing this and maybe you should focus elsewhere. And that's also a concern. You've got a PlayStation 5, you've got a PlayStation VR 2 that people are already saying is dead, and then you're going to bring this out? You're going to be supporting 3 different devices. Why are you doing this? Just wait. Support the PlayStation 5. Let other things take care of the PlayStation 5 remote stuff. You don't need it right now. You simply don't need it. But PlayStation going to do PlayStation, right? They're going to do what they want to do. They got to make splashes in the game industry. And I'm not saying that I don't like the device. I don't trust Sony with handhelds. I don't see a reason to have something that is already redundant when you can already do this. But that's it. My time is up. My watch says I gotta stop talking. So that said, if you enjoyed the video, do us a big favor. Leave a comment below. If you have any questions, toss them in the comment section. I will get back to you. If you like the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the Outer Havens YouTube channel. We would greatly appreciate it. That said, I will see you on the next video.